Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I look forward to this episode of Copywriting Series Part 2, How to Serve Your ICP. That is your ideal customer profile. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to 10x the effectiveness of your marketing and messaging efforts. And the way we're going to do this is by understanding how to serve our ideal customer profile. This is a process of how we're going to get into the mind of the person that will be buying the stuff that we want to sell. Okay, so if you watch to the end, you're going to learn how to get into the mind of the prospect of whom you'd like to sell stuff to. You're going to have an exercise and a framework of how to do this repeatedly. So you can do this for this product, the next product, the product after that, and maybe even a business after that. Okay, it's going to be the same thing every single time because a buyer is a buyer is a buyer is a buyer. So you're going to learn something that you can use for life on how to understand the person you are selling to. What else are you going to learn from this? Oh, monkey see, monkey do. By watching me do it, I'm going to go through an actual exercise. I'm going to do it live in front of you. Actually, not live in front of you. Last time I did it live in front of you, I think it took a bit too long. I think it was like a 36-minute video. So this one, I went ahead and did it in advance. So we can try to rip through this document and whip through this learning exercise. So you're going to see what it looks like to be done, and that is going to help you do it the right way moving forward. Because it's one thing to learn something and read something, but when you actually see it getting done, that's where you're going to get the really juicy, valuable insights so that you can realize that you can do it too, and that it's not as hard as it may seem. So let's dive in, my friends. So what are we doing here? This document will go over. Yes. Okay, this document will go over what to think about before you start writing copy, how to position your products and services. Okay. And then it's going to include a homework assignment, something that you should do. Take this opportunity, spend 10 minutes after watching this video and actually get into the weeds and doing it for yourself. That is the best way to learn. It's one thing to, watch content. I watch and learn. I watch a lot of content. I learn a lot from content, 100%. But it's doing it. Make space for yourself to actually do these exercises. And I promise you, you will learn more from doing than you will from watching or not doing. I think it sounds like you will learn more from doing than you will from not doing. It's going to be the caption of my next video. Okay, let's see. So recap. Well, what did we learn in the last video? Maybe you missed it. And if you did, I would pause and go back so you know the foundations, because this is a series. It's supposed to grow one thing after the next to make sure that the depth and breadth of your understanding is deep and wide. Okay. So recap, an ideal customer profile is a detailed description of the buyer for your products and services. Okay, said more simply, it is the buyer. Whoever is going to be buying your stuff, this is the ideal customer profile, is the best, most optimal buyer that you could have. I think I give an example in another video. So a guy who is using a Band-Aid as duct tape is not really the ideal customer profile. It's just a buyer, but he's not the ideal. Someone who has a boo-boo is a good buyer for a Band-Aid. Okay? So we want to know what type of companies does this person work for or run, and what type of person is this person? Like, what do they care about? What's important to them? What moves them? What drives them? What are they afraid of? Things like that. What are their interests? So, okay, we need to understand the granular needs and motives of the ICP. Again, ideal customer profile. Moving forward, we're just going to say ICP. So if you missed it, you're going to be lost for the rest of the video. So we need to know, we need to understand the granular needs. So as the needs as it relates to the company and the needs as it relates to themselves. Again, we are humans. We're not machines. We function a lot on logic, but there's a lot of decisions are very emotional. And also, I hate to be the one to say it, but sometimes it's a little bit selfish. What motivates one person may not always be in the best interest of the organization. And I think everyone is always wanting to do what's best for others, what's best for the company, and what's best for the organization. But it is a natural human tendency to want to also do what's right for ourselves. So you have to be wary that we are selling to people, not to robots. So got to take that into account. Okay, to understand their needs, we can conduct customer interviews. We can study them while asking yourself probing questions, which we discussed and learned about in the last video. And what I actually like to do the most is to do this exercise, and it's to imagine yourself in a conversation with this person, to actually close your eyes and sit back and think, what is this person's name? Where are they from? What do they care about? What are they wearing? Okay, all these things. Have a conversation with them, and you will see the mind is a wonderful place where you can create any reality and fully immerse yourself in it. So I would do that. It makes a big difference. Okay. Going back, it's kind of like a monkey see, monkey do. It's one thing to read about a persona, but it's another thing to visualize and see the persona in action and experience everything that persona has to offer. Okay, so the way we're going to do this is before writing, we like to think about how we can position the product in the best possible way. At the end of the day, it's all about building trust, confidence, and the traction that is going to get someone to buy. So as I always say, as many people always say, I'm not the originator of this idea, but people need to know, like, and trust you. And part of that is to really understand who they are first. Okay? So this is the exercise that I'm suggesting you go through. This is the exercise that we go through during some of our onboarding strategy and implementation processes and onboarding process to really understand the people who we're communicating with. Because as you can imagine, as a sales development agency, we are actually doing sales for other people day in and day out. And when it's your company and it's your business, you may know all these things already because you've just naturally been exposed to it over, the course of doing business. For us, we have essentially 1 month to figure all this out. So we go really, really, really deep into understanding different buyer personas every single time we onboard a new client, which is actually a lot of fun because we learn a lot about different markets, industries, and things like that. But anyways, long story short, the reason why I'm mentioning that to you is because this is how we fast track that learning process. And we go through an exercise like this, okay? So here are some things to consider. Motivators. What are the buyer's dreams? Okay, and when I'll read through some of these, I don't know, maybe I'll skip through some just to keep pace. But what I would implore you to do is to actually copy, take a screenshot. I think you can take a screenshot and then copy and paste everything here. It works on the Mac. Or just type it out. It's not that long. But actually answer these questions. I'm going to go through a few examples because, like I said, I prepared some stuff before this video. But ask yourself these questions, okay? Because these are the important questions to really understand the persona and things like that. So remember, we want to figure out how, the goal of this video is to figure out how we can serve the ICP, okay? So figuring out how you can serve someone takes an understanding of who they are and what motivates them. And sorry, I digress for one more moment. Think about other people in your life. If what I'm saying is not common sense to you, which is no big deal, but think about people in your life, like a spouse, a friend, a child. In order to give them a good gift, you need to know what they want. So a child may want a toy, right? A friend may want a watch or some other widget. Understanding who it is that you want to give something to is instrumental to giving them the right thing. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Okay. So there are a couple different aspects. So the motivators, what are the buyer's dreams? What are the buyer's fears, uncertainties, and doubts? Relevance. Why them? Why now? Why would they want this thing right now? Why is it relevant to them? What is the value proposition? So what value would they get from your products or services? What are all of the problems that your products and services solve? How is your product superior compared to competitors? What are the best competitors doing and saying? What are your best competitors? Look at the market and see how are they communicating with the customers? What are their claims? Because the next part of the competitor analysis is to understand what can you claim that they can't. So if they're guaranteeing something or promising something or saying, hey, even something as simple as our founder has this background, which makes us the best, that's their claim to fame. What is your claim to fame? And sometimes it's a matter of looking at what everyone else is claiming and then seeing what can you claim that is untouched territory, so that you can own that space. So yeah, what can you claim that they can? Cost and pain of taking action. So this is important. So if they do take, just part of this, we're trying to understand how we can serve our ICP. So part of this is understanding what motivates them, and part of this is understanding how we can serve them, and then part of this is understanding how we can position the product to them. That's why there's a wide range of questions here that I probably should have actually, I'm not going to go back and do it now, but it would have been better to, categorize this, so you understood the categories that they're serving. But I think now that I said that, I think it's probably obvious. Anyways, how is our product superior compared to competitors? That's going to help us with positioning. We already spoke about that. Okay, if they do take action, what are some downstream problems that may arise? What do I mean by this? Imagine, for example, this is a very basic example. Imagine, for example, if you sell someone a car, a downstream problem that may arise is maybe now they need to go get a license, or now in order to use a car, they're going to be on the hook for gas and maintenance. They're going to need maybe a GPS, need to know how to get places. So when you start something, new things, new challenges, new roadblocks become ahead of you. For us as a lead generation company and a sales development agency, even us, we bring a lot of value to the table, but we also create problems for people. For example, when all of a sudden, we have a group of a company that's based on referrals, recommendations, and in-network leads. Now all of a sudden there's cold leads. There's a whole new traffic source. So all of a sudden you're pouring all this. They already have they're like in equilibrium before we get there, and then all of a sudden we start adding all these sales appointments to their calendars. It's more work. It's more quotes. It's more fulfillment. It's more processes. It's more everything. So that's a downstream problem of taking action with us. You create a little bit more work. But if you want the result of growing your business, then you embrace that work. But it's important to know what that downstream problem is, because you can also help people solve those problems to make your offer more lucrative. Okay, what is the cost and pain of inaction? Let's say they don't take action. What are some downstream problems that will arise? And we'll go into, I think that one's obvious, but if they don't, then what? If they don't buy the Band-Aid and they have a cut, then what? Their cut may get infected. If that infection may spread to other people. It would be very painful. It can. I'm not going to go worse because it gets a little gruesome. But you have downstream problems. That's the reality. Everything has cause and effect. So. Okay, then something to consider also, risk reduction and low friction call to action. So what is a safe way for someone to learn more? So it's totally okay to ask for a meeting, and we ask for meetings all the time, and it often works. I would say even 80% of the time. Sometimes it doesn't work, and there's other ways to have a soft call to action to get people to learn more, where they feel safe. If you have an amazing offer, a 60-minute meeting, it might be completely fine. If your offer is a little bit weak, a low friction call to action to learn more might be, do you mind if I send you a quick video? Do I mind if I send you our blueprint, a framework, direct you to our landing page where you can learn more, etc. So that is what I mean by consider some, reduce the risk on the call to action so that you can make it safer for them to learn more. Then we have risk reduction as to why it would be safe to make a purchasing decision. And I'll make a whole nother video on risk reduction because that's just a way longer topic and I'm not going to get into it here. But then we want to think about angles. How are we going to approach this buyer so that it makes sense? What would be a bad example of this? A bad example of this would be like, hey, I saw you had a blue shirt. You want to buy a car? A good example of this is, hey, I see you walking to work every morning. Would you like to buy a car? Yeah, that was a good example of bad and a good example of good. So yeah, we'll just move on from there. Offers. What is the value exchange here? I know I'm covering a lot, but I think it's self-explanatory. If it's not, just shoot me an email or actually even better, leave a comment under this video, because I want to explain these in more depth. I think when you see the example, and what I'll probably end up doing is sharing this resource so that you can, dig into this a little bit more. But the idea here is to just give you some probing questions so that you can extract more value, more insights from your mind, because good questions equal good answers. And your mind and the research you do will shed a lot of light into these things. And it all comes down to asking the right questions, because you can go through this, you can prepare to write and not go through the steps of asking all these different questions here. And then what? You're just not going to have the frame of reference, the frame of mind to write intelligently. If you go through this process, you're going to have so much more relevant knowledge and relevant insights that you're going to be so well prepared to write that the words are just going to come out naturally. So, do it or don't. It doesn't really matter to me, but that's what we do, and it's very helpful. Why do we do that? Because when we didn't do that, it was very challenging to write for new offers and new personas. And when we did do this, as we do now, it's just much easier and streamlines that whole process. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, so how to position your products and service. So product positioning. So the simple definition is how a product or service is communicated to the market. Okay, but more important than that is how okay, this is an interesting concept. More important than how it is communicated is how it is received. Okay, more important than how it is communicated is how it is received, because the ultimate goal with product positioning is to control the way a customer thinks about the product. So if you say something is cool and the customer doesn't think it's cool, well, I hate to break it to you, it's not cool. That's how it works. So you could be like, this cool gizmo gadget, amazing, it's super, and if the person just says, nah, like, no, it's not. That sucks. That is the reality. The way the consumer imagines it is the reality of the situation. So like I said, although in order to have the consumer perceive it the right way, it has to be communicated. It's like, what comes first, the chicken or the chicken or the egg? But the most important thing is controlling the way a customer perceives it, and then adjusting the way it's communicated to accomplish that perception goal. Okay, that was a little that's a little meta, but I think that was clear. So it's all about how the consumer thinks about it, and leveraging insights from the questions above is how to design a messaging strategy to achieve this. So that is the goal. We are trying to help you in this video design a messaging strategy that's going to help you control the narrative of the product or service so that the consumer perceives it in a certain way. I would recommend going through all these questions and considerations above and then honing it into the below. Maybe just pause for a second. And read through this. But I'm just going to cover the headline. So we want to, the idea here is to map out your target's world. Then we want to analyze the competition's position. We want to define key differentiators. We want to craft your position, and then we want to test. Because all that matters is how the consumer perceives it. You got to test it. You got to test it and make sure it's being perceived the right way. If it's not, then you change things around, and then you just keep iterating and iterating until you get it right. Okay? So here is an example that I did for lead generation services. You know what? I think we're already coming on like 20 minutes right now. We are. This was supposed to be short. I put a lot of work into these things, you know. I would like to go through it. Whatever, you know what? We're just gonna do it. We're just gonna do it. So it's really important for you to stick around for this example, because when it's one thing to hear it, but like I said before, it's a completely different thing to understand it and see it with your own eyes of what this would look like. So I don't know, maybe we'll cut it short, but I'll just read through a few. So like like I said, I did this basically for ourselves. So we are a lead generation service company. What are the buyer's dreams? So the buyer, they want to scale revenue predictably without burning cash on ineffective sales channels. Okay. They want to build a reliable pipeline of quality leads. They want to look good and feel good about driving growth to both their friends, family, and team. And you would be surprised, but the ego, the ego plays a major role in a lot of things that we do. So getting things wrong not only loses money, but it also makes you look bad. Getting things right not only makes you money, but makes you look good. And people like to look good, especially in front of friends, family, colleagues, team members, etc. Why else? What else is a buyer's dream? They want to free up time from manual prospecting. So yes, look, in theory, manual prospecting is, you know, just as good as automated prospecting. The difference is that your customer acquisition cost goes way up, because the cost to manually prospect is extremely expensive. So when you can use automation tools and things like that, you're saving actually a lot of time and making the whole process of acquiring customers more efficient. So what are the other motivators? What are the buyer's fears, uncertainties, and doubts? Wasting budget on an ineffective agency. Damaging companies' email reputation and deliverability. Because if this is damaged, then what happens next? They can't communicate with anyone because their emails don't work. Getting locked into long contracts. Team resistance to new processes. Stress of handling new fulfillment with a new influx of sales. Fear of failure. Damaging reputation with potential clients. Relevance. Why then? Why now? Because maybe the market is getting more competitive. Traditional cold outreach, non-automated, becomes less effective and costs are becoming too high. So businesses cannot sustain growth. It's becoming too expensive. The window is closing to gain competitive advantage. So every single day that you are not growing in your market, you are losing market share to your competitors who are growing. So if a business who really wants to sustain needs to be aggressive with grabbing market while they can. So that's some relevance as to why then, why now. Value proposition. What value are they getting from the product or service? Sales. So why would they buy this? Like, what is the actual value in getting this? So the value is they're getting sales opportunities. So when you buy lead generation, you're getting sales opportunities with qualified people who are interested in buying your stuff. Okay, that weighs itself in gold. So, or the expression, something like that. Anyways, very valuable. The speed. What is the other value proposition here? The speed, the ability to generate sales opportunities now is a big advantage, a big value proposition, because time is money. They're also buying proprietary technology and processes, from deliverability to go-to-market strategies to sales development processes and more. That is another thing that they're buying, because not only is time money, knowledge is money. That's why people pay consultants, because there are people who have the ideas, there are people who have the know-how, and people pay other people who have that know-how to help them get where they want to go more quickly. So that is another value proposition. Confidence. When you don't know how to do something, like, think about it this way. Imagine if your family member, your spouse, let's say, imagine a family member needed surgery. Okay, you could maybe do it yourself. Okay, ready? Let's say a family member needs stitches. Okay, that's a very simple procedure, to be honest. You clean it out, you get some thread and needle, and you stitch it up. You know, maybe a little bit more involved than that, but it's really not too serious. It's nothing that the regular Joe can't do. However, you still go to a doctor and pay for that procedure because it's going to give you more confidence. So you want to work with professionals because they're going to give you more confidence in getting the results that you're after. So their business is now more defensible. That doesn't make sense. Their business is now more defensible. Yeah, I don't know how that got there. So that's what the confidence means. So you're buying confidence, okay? And confidence is carries throughout the organization. If you're nervous between every step, not only are you moving slow, but that nervousness is contagious to other people. Risk reduction by working with us, but really by working, with like this theoretical lead generation company, you're reducing the risk of doing it yourself. Kind of like I mentioned in the confidence aspect, is you can hire an importer to make sure your goods make it through customs and pay more, or you can try to do the importing process yourself and risk your goods getting stuck in customs for 3 months, and whoever you're selling the product to be extremely upset and maybe even cancel the purchase order. And then you're stuck with all these goods and you have nowhere to offload it. You want to reduce risk wherever you can. Working with professionals helps you reduce risk. Problem solving. What are all the problems that this product and service solves? So it creates scalable revenue, predictable acquisition channels, lead flow, sales opportunities, technical expertise, time constraints, deliverability, copywriting, go-to-market strategy, data sourcing, data enrichment, sales development, campaign management, A/B testing, optimization, knowledge and being up to date with industry trends, low response rates, resource strain on internal teams, and manual processes. So these are just a handful of the many problems that a lead generation or sales development agency solves for another company. How many more do we have here? We're almost done. Yeah, we're doing a time. I'm gonna go a little long. I hope this is helpful. It should be helpful. You're still here. It should be very helpful. Okay, the unique selling proposal. So how is this product superior compared to other competitors? A team of experts in each discipline. Okay, this is what makes this theoretical lead generation company unique, as a team of experts in each discipline. They give the time and attention that every client needs. They have successfully generated results before. They have years of experience. Proprietary deliverability systems, proprietary sales development systems, proprietary go-to-market strategies, proprietary A/B testing and optimization strategies. There's a lot of stuff that make this a unique selling proposal from this company compared to another company. And again, all of this study, all this research, I hope you can see from now, it's not that hard to do. It does take some time, because it takes time to even just read through all of it. But it's going to give you the most well-rounded understanding of the persona you're selling to, and the unique selling propositions of your products and services, and then how to position it, what angle to approach, how to offer it, and things like that. And this is just going to dramatically, like 100x the results you're going to get from your campaigns, because you're going to be speaking the language. Whatever, competition analysis, the lower quality, lack of programmatic research, lack of experience, lack of professional experience, understaffed, etc. Competition analysis. What can you claim that they can? A couple examples: ICP matching, proprietary systems technology, American warm callers, 150 million in revenue generated for our clients to date, years and years of expertise, cost and pain of taking action, new influx of sales. Like I said before, this may drain and add strain on the fulfillment team. New influx of opportunities may add strain on the sales team, and strain on the marketing team to develop content and resources. Okay. As well, the cost of inaction. This is where it gets very interesting, because what would be the cost of inaction in this scenario be? The risk of stagnation, or even worse, decline. Okay. The loss of respect from your team because you haven't figured out a reliable acquisition channel. Stress and anxiety from not having a predictable lead flow, and you're always looking for the next opportunity that's going to save you. The inability to sell your business, one that you built or at least one that you built at the right price, because you have a lack of established sales channels, and the entire sales flow is dependent on you and your network. And look, you may have a lower self-esteem because you have not figured this out. So, risk reduction, safe ways to take action to learn more. Sharing assets, frameworks, scripts, templates, videos, and more. Risk reduction on how to make it safe to make a purchasing decision is intro offers and social proof. And I will do another video on intro offers because this is, and I made quite a bit of content. Check out my LinkedIn on intro offers. It's, it's a great hack to build trust. Angles. So how are we going to approach this? So one angle might be if we notice that they're hiring salespeople or if they're interacting with content on this subject matter. Another angle would be problem sniffing. I always forget his name. Josh Braun. Josh Braun talks about problem sniffing a lot. Beautiful methodology. It's brilliant. So, example of that would be like, have you found that this issue occurred? Have you found that, every month after month that you're looking for sales opportunities and you're kind of struggling to get that lead flow that you're gonna need to generate enough business to maintain payroll the following month? That might be a granular issue. That's sniffing out. You're trying to sniff out a problem here. Demonstrating an understanding. I'm assuming you're looking for X, Y, and Z. How do I know that? Because I did some research on you. So these are all viable angles. Full stack expertise, risk reduction. These are all angles that you can approach. And then offers are what is the value exchange here? So meetings with interested buyers is the offer. Revenue generation, proven processes, time or resource saving, market advantage. These are all things like, hey, we can help you get a advantage over your competitors in the next 30 days or your money back. Well, how are we going to help you get an advantage over your competitors? By helping you win more clients. So there's a lot of different ways to position and offer something. So, okay, we're cutting it too long here. This, you're going to have to ask for the resource and read through this. I hope this shed some light on everything for you. The reason why I'm not going to read this is because this process here is taking all of this, everything that we just discussed, and refining it into something that is just more organized. Like I said, mapping out your target's world, analyzing the competitor's position, identifying unique selling opportunities and things like that. So this is all kind of the same, but just formatted and just like this is the exercise, this is the outcome, this is the output right here. So what should you do now before you go? This is very important because you want to digest this fully. You need to just stop, then listen to the rest of the sentence and then stop what you're doing and do this now. Do this assignment. It's called a homework assignment. You want to call it it's an opportunity. It's not homework. It's an opportunity assignment. It's an opportunity for you to learn. It's an opportunity for you to internalize a way of doing something that professionals are doing, because we do this every single day for all of our clients. And we are able to learn about new markets and new personas extremely quickly by going through this exercise. This is the only way that we'd be able to and are able to scale our processes, because we can really, really quickly understand who we're selling to, even if we have no pre-existing ideas or understanding of a particular market. So go through this exercise. What did we cover here today? Okay, just gonna flip right up here. So we understand how to serve the ICP. How do we serve the ideal customer profile? Okay, and like I said, in this video, what we were going to go over and what we did go over is what to think. In order to figure out how we can serve this person, we need to understand what to think about before we even get into the writing process. And then we need to think about how we're going to position our product and service to this prospect. And why does that correlate to serving your ICP? Because every product or service presumably solves some sort of problem. Okay, like I have a card here. Right? This solves a problem. the problem is that people wanted to send messages to other people and make them feel good and special. So someone invented a card. And in the card, it's a vehicle for sending someone messages and making them feel good. That is a problem that it solves. Every product, every service solves a problem. So I need that card, or the person who bought that card for me needs that card because it solves a problem. They want to do something. So the way you can serve your ideal customer profile is by understanding how to communicate with them and how to position your product to them so that they are comfortable to make a purchasing decision. Because people are very reluctant to make purchasing decisions. However, they want or need the thing that you're offering, but there are other things holding them back from buying. So by going through this exercise and understanding how to communicate with them and how to position the product so that it's intriguing and it's exciting and enticing for them, you're making them feel comfortable to do something that they already want to do. They want the thing, but they need to know, like, and trust you. So that is why this whole video is how to serve your ideal customer profile, because this is the best way you can serve them is by making them feel comfortable and ready to buy so that they can receive the benefit from your product or service. That is the name of the game. That is how you can be of most service. The quickest way to not be of a lot of service is to not do this. It's to not understand your customer profile. It's to not understand what motivates them. It's to not understand how to communicate to them. It's to not understand how to position your product and service them. It's to not instill trust. It's to not do all those things that we're trying to accomplish here. Because if you don't want to serve them, then you want to make your product and service unattractive so that they don't buy and that they don't get the benefit from your products and services. Whoa, okay, that is all for today. So I think that's it. We did it all. We did it all, my friends. We figured out good questions to extract good insight. We figured out good questions to extract good answers. We went through this exercise to build a foundation for your product positioning, and like I said, it will guarantee to make your messaging 10 times more effective. But I just want to say one last thing. So stay here. Why is this going to make your messaging more effective? Like in 10x. And 10x, honestly, is probably an understatement. I would say even 100 or 1,000x more effective. Because ineffective messaging will give you 0 results. And very effective messaging is going to give you hundreds of results, if not more. So by doing it the right way, you're going to get such an insane return on your time investment into learning the right way to do it. So that's all. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, of course. If you have questions, leave me comments. I'm hungry to help you. I'm here. This channel is here to serve you and to share my insights that I've learned over the years and that my team and I are constantly discovering and figuring out as we go. We want to share them with you. So ask any questions you have. We're here to help. And I think that's all. I hope you got value from this video. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you for your time today. And I'll see you on the next video. Thanks and a good day, my friends.